Okay. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone back to our daily Gita classes. Today we are going to be reading from chapter number 2 entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized and speaking from text number 65. Okay. Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hani Asya Upajayate Prasanna Chetasa Hi Ashu Buddhihi Pari Avatishthathe Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Yashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Yashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Ashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Yashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Yashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetasi Ashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetasho Ashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Ashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Ashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Ashu Buddhi Paryavashtite Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Ashu Buddhi Paryavashtite. Okay, word for word translation. Prasade, on achievement of the causeless mercy of the Lord. Sarva, of all dukhanam, material miseries, hanihi, destruction, asya, his, upajayate, takes place, prasanna chetasa, of the happy minded, he, certainly, ashu, very soon, buddhihi, intelligence, pari, sufficiently, avastishtate, becomes established. Okay, purport, sorry, translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. There is no purport to this verse. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Vishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharya Nirvishesha Shunyadi Pachata Deshatarine 265 Prasade Sarva Dukhanam Hanir Ashupajayate Prasanna Chetasi Ashu Buddhi Pariya Avashtitate. So for one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Okay, so this is a continuation from yesterday's shloka. So what did we discuss yesterday? Does anyone recall what we discussed yesterday? Please.
So from the bottom up.
From the bottom up.
When we get mercy.
Yeah.
Basically we can, there's one more thing I forgot, but we can get control the senses, which ultimately we can control the mind.
Yeah. So to get the mercy of the Lord, you must be able to follow the scriptures. Because when you follow the scriptures, then your senses are interacting with the sense objects in a regulated way, not in a irregulated way. So the whole point was to try to achieve the prasad or to get the mercy of the Lord. Now in this verse, it tells you what is the result of getting that mercy. What happens when you get that mercy? So what happens? If sarva dukhanam hanir ashupajayate, all your miseries will be gone. They'll exist no longer. And then what happens? Prasanna chetaso hi ashu, that you will be satisfied, you will be completely happy. And then what happens? Buddhihi paryavashtite, that your intelligence becomes well situated. So these are the three things that happen. One is the threefold miseries of material existence no longer exists. You get satisfied consciousness or happy consciousness or joyful consciousness, and then your intelligence is also well established. So what does this prasad what is the rupa prasad? We understand prasadam to be like, we get some eatables. That's prasad. But no, prasad basically means that we get purification. Prasadam means we get some sort of purification. So this purity means that we or our impure desires begin to subside. That is what is called purification. When all the impure desires you've had, now they start fading away. That is naturally called purification. So these impure desires, what are they? They are basically sense gratification. These are called impure desires. So if you look at this verse, prasad is sarva dukhanam. From mercy, prasad means mercy. From mercy, sarva dukhanam, all miseries. Hanihi asya upajayate means of such a person, all his miseries are destroyed. Prasanna chetasa hi ashu, the mind soon turns peaceful. And buddhi hi paryavashtitate, and his intelligence becomes well situated. So first we have to follow the rules and regulations. When we follow the rules and regulations, we gain mercy, and from gaining mercy or gaining purification, our intelligence becomes well situated. But my question to you is this: look at this three. First you follow, you gain mercy, or you follow the rules and regulations, you gain mercy, and then your intelligence is well situated. But my question to you is, doesn't your intelligence have to be well situated before you can start to follow the rules and regulations? Right? Who in their right mind will want to follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures? You look at so many people in this world, they would not even think about even opening up the scriptures. So if somebody is opening up the scriptures in the first place, it already means that there must be some sort of intelligence in them. Right? So my question to you is, how does this work? How do you get your intelligence to be well situated, as that is a result, but this result is supposed to be the prerequisite of even starting of the journey. So how do you answer that?
We discussed this in our class, that the mercy, intelligence, mercy increases intelligence. So it goes hand in hand, and it's never ending. It constantly goes hand in hand, and you eventually acquire or increase that love for God.
Yes. So we don't need to, because we always think of either everything or zero. But intelligence is not an everything or zero thing. It increases slowly by slowly. So what happens? You might have some intelligence, and then you utilize that some intelligence into reading a bit of the scripture. So what is happening? Your intelligence is now getting the food from the scriptures. Okay? But this is all theoretical knowledge. You're understanding, you're actually understanding what the Gita is saying. But to be able to truly understand the Gita, even scholars have read the Gita, but there's been no transformation in them. There is so many different types of scholars of the Gita, yet why is it only Prabhupada's Gita that is being so well understood and well established? Why not any other type of Gita? Because what happens is, in this Gita, there is also a call to action. The other Gitas which are of a scholarly level, there is just mental speculation and mental concoctions. There is a bit of mental exercise or mental gymnastics. But here it's very clear cut that you need to engage into living the principles of the Gita. Okay? So when you start living the principles of the Gita, what is happening? It means you've got, even if you look in material schools, in material knowledge. I don't know, have you seen the movie Three Idiots? You've seen the movie Three Idiots. Then in the beginning, what happens? That scene happens, he locks himself in the room, and then he creates like a circuit with a ruler and a spoon. and then with like pea water or with pea, because it carries electrolytes and all that, it is a good conductor of electricity. Water is a good conductor of electricity. We learned that. We learned that in junior school or middle school of physics. But what did he say in that movie? That he is the only one that applied that knowledge. Yes? So we get so much intelligence, or we can feed our intelligence, but that is not going to help us. That information is just gathering there. But if you want that information to stick, you need to be able to apply that information. So the next part is when you start to live according to the scriptures, then what is happening? This book knowledge is becoming assimilated in you. It is, you're internalizing it, you're applying it. And when you apply it, what will happen is that now realizations will start to manifest in you. Then you realize, oh, this is what the Gita said. When I'm applying it, I'm actually finding the results, what the Gita is saying in my own life. So now I can now borrow from my own realizations. So now the intelligence that is provided by the scriptures has now become your own intelligence, because it's now become realized knowledge. Yes? So this process of applying it and realizing it, that connection is known as purification. Okay, it's called purification. And when you start to realize it, then you go back to the Gita and then you read some more, you understand some more, you apply some more, you realize a bit more, and so it's an upward spiral. So this is what happens. So this is what it means, that your buddhi becomes well situated, in the sense that it is a continuously upward spiral where you read a bit, you apply it, and when you're applying it, it's purifying you. When it's purifying you, it's creating some sort of realizations, and then that realization increase your faith, and then you go back into the Gita. That is why there's so many people that are reading the same book over an entire lifetime, the same book, the same Gita over a lifetime, and yet they find it's ever new. It's giving you even more realizations, because it's going deeper and deeper and deeper every time. His Holiness Keshav Maharaj used to say that spiritual knowledge is not linear, it is spiral. So you're reading the same text, the same Bhagavad Gita, the same Srimad Bhagavatam, the same Chaitanya Charitamrita, but as you read more and you apply more, you purify yourself more, you will see it even opening up more and more, more and more, more and more. This is spiritual literature. It's not one thing that, oh, I've just read the Gita one time, I've read the Bhagavatam one time, I've read the CC one time, and that's it. This is a continuous journey. You will get so much more jewels as you apply the knowledge and you realize it for yourself. You see, there was this once a disciple and a spiritual master, and the disciple was enamored by the spiritual master, and he told the spiritual master that, oh master, you have got so many realizations and jewel-like realizations from the scriptures, can you please give them all to me? And the spiritual master became very grave, and he told the disciple, you do not have enough wealth to purchase all the realizations that I have. So this disciple became very morose, like, now what to do? But he said that if you, the spiritual master continued, if you yourself dive deep into the scriptures, you will find the jewels for yourself. Right? So what does that mean? That means that, and also the spiritual master said that if I give them to you freely, you will not be able to value them, and you are not going to be able to purchase them either, because they are so deep. So what you do is you go yourself into the scriptures and apply the scriptures into your life, and you will see when you look back that you will also have your own set of jewels from the scriptures. And what are the jewels? The jewels of realization. These are the jewels that the spiritual master is talking about. So we see that you start with a bit of intelligence, then you apply. What does applying mean? It means following the rules and regulations. Step 1, you follow the rules and regulations. Step 2 is you gain mercy, meaning purification. So when you're applying it and then you're getting realizations, that is purification. That's step number 2. And then step number 3, your intelligence becomes well situated because now your intelligence is increased, is become more stronger. At first, it was dependent on scripture knowledge, but later it becomes strong on its own because you have realized it. You know, one time there was Srila Prabhupada and a disciple, and Srila Prabhupada was, is very fond of challenging his disciples. So he started playing the devil's advocate. So Prabhupada just said, let me challenge you now. I'm the atheist, and you have to try to defeat me. So now imagine Prabhupada becomes atheist, he'll become first class atheist as well. So he said, how do you know that this process works? How do you know? And then the disciple like, because it's written here, it's written there, everyone is written it. I said, I don't believe that. How do you know it works? And then the disciples came and they said, oh, it's because it's written here and all that. He said, no, he cut down every argument. Finally, one disciple said, Prabhupada, I don't know what to say, but I just feel happy when I'm chanting Hare Krishna. And that said, yes, that is the reason. Because you have realized that this process works for yourself, that is the greatest proof that you will ever need. No amount of external proof will work until you don't have that internal realization that this process works. Right? So this is what it means, that your intelligence becomes well situated in more and more scriptural knowledge. Okay? Now, we understand that much. But what is sarva dukhanam hanir ashopajayate? What does it mean that all the threefold miseries will exist no longer? We are living in this material world. We are always going to be subjected to so many different types of miseries. Even pure devotees, you see them getting old, you see them getting diseased. Ultimately, they also have to face death. So how is it that devotees, over here it says that they do not experience any of the threefold miseries, but our eyes see that, oh, they are going through all these miseries. They also have to deal with the insults of other people, right? So what does it mean? Yeah. So, as you said yesterday, that there are two different shlokas in the Gita where Krishna is rubber stamped this place to be full of miseries. In 5:22 and in 8:15. What does he say in 8:15? Dukhalya ashashvatam. And what does he say in 5:22? He says that all the happiness in this world is pregnant with misery in it. Everything that you try, if you try to be happy in this world, you will always face some sort of misery later on. Shri Rukmini Dwarkadesh ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Gaunitaya ki jai. So there are three types of sufferings. What are the three types of sufferings? What are the three types of klesh? You know this. We've covered this many times. It starts with Adi. Adi what? Adi Devik. Adi Devik is what? Adi Devik is miseries from material nature and by the demigods. Then number 2, Adhyatmatik. What is Adhyatmatik? Sorry. Atmatik. Oh, okay. It's just from the who? From yourself, from your mind, from your senses, from your body. And the last one is Adhibautik. That is what?
External.
From other living beings. Yes. 3 types of klesha. My question to you is, now what is the difference between the word inconvenience and pain? If I have to tell you that if you are coming to the temple and then your tire you got a flat tire, is that an inconvenience or is that a pain? Inconvenience. And if it was a fractured hand, it's pain. So why is one thing called pain and the other one is called inconvenience? What differentiates the two?
Inconvenience doesn't affect you really. It's just a hassle, a little bit of a hassle.
Yeah.
The pain affects you directly.
So, but why does that pain affect you greater and then this affect you less?
It's your body. It's your body. Right?
Okay, body. But what about the body causes this to be greater and the car not to be that much great?
That one you can easily repair. This one will take a longer time to repair.
Okay. Well, what if it takes a longer time for that to repair? For example, so what is the one connection that I'm looking for? It's because body. So are you more attached to your body or to your car?
What's your body?
To your body. So the reason or the difference between what is an inconvenience and what is a pain is dependent on your level of attachment to it. Yeah? Imagine that certain people are so attached to their cars that even if there's a small scratch on the car, it's as if a knife has been pierced into their heart. They react like that. Right? Have you seen such people? You've seen such people. What does that just show? It just shows the amount of attachment that they have towards that car. Right? So the difference between an inconvenience and actual pain is determined by your level of attachment to certain things. A fracture is very painful because it's so much, your body is so much dear to you. Yeah? So the attachment determines the extent of our emotional response, and even the misery that we experience depends on the degree of attachment that we have. Therefore, when you follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures, what is the effect or the result is you get purified. And what does this purification mean? It means that these attachments are fading away. And so, because your misidentification with the body and material possessions is now reducing. That is what purification means. Purification means how much is your misidentification with the body and your material possessions decreasing. Okay? As a result of your attachment decreasing, the level or the intensity of misery is also going to decrease. Right? Now imagine if you have a small glass of water and you take a handful of salt and you put it in there. What's going to happen? And you drink it. What's going to happen? Yeah?
It's horrible.
It tastes horrible. It's just so salty. It's just so salty. So, and if you put the same handful of salt in a big room of water and then drink the water, what will happen? Huh? Immaterial. Level of salt is the same, but the quantity of water has become more. So material consciousness is like the small beaker, and spiritual consciousness is like a big room full of water. And the inconveniences is the same amount, but in the small cup or jar, it feels a lot. But when it is in a room full of water, it feels negligible. It feels as if it's not even there. So this is what it means, that devotees are free from the threefold miseries only because now their consciousness has expanded and is constantly in touch with the spiritual reality. It's constantly in touch with Krishna. That the threefold miseries, that even though they happen to them, they are not at all affected. They are not finding misery in it. In fact, they just find it as a slight inconvenience. Even that slight depends on a varying degree. Yeah, it could be very minimal. Yeah. So as we become, so just as we are so attached to this car, say if you are so attached to this car, this body is also like a car. It's a machine. In Gita, Krishna says in 1861, it says yantra rudani mayaya, that this body, this material body is like a machine given by the material nature, by Maya. So we take care of the body just as you would with a car. Just because you have a car doesn't mean you leave it like that and you don't care about it. No, you do. But you're not affected by it. You see. So even in this world, we have a body, we take care of this body, we will do our utmost to try to reduce the inconveniences to the body, but we don't get affected by it. That is what is the lesson that we must understand here. Yeah. So as we become more purified, our intelligence is well situated, as we don't misidentify ourselves with the body or material possessions. And thus, we are situated in self-realization, and therefore one experiences no misery, in the sense that there is misery, but it doesn't affect you. And the natural joyfulness of the soul begins to manifest. Why? Because now we are connecting to the powerhouse of love, to the powerhouse of attraction. That's Krishna. Another name of Krishna is Rama. Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure. So this is what that when we start to rediscover our constitutional position as Krishna's part and parcel, and start rediscovering our eternal duty to render service to Krishna through bhakti, we will start to have so much internal happiness. And that internal happiness is of a higher taste than any other materialistic pursuits. And this is only a question of realization. Because until and unless you do not realize this yourself, your intelligence is not going to be well situated. It's going to be tormented by the temptations of materialistic desires. And you keep on moving here, there, here, there, here, there. But until you feel genuine happiness, until you can feel the genuine joyfulness of doing bhakti, that is why Krishna says in 9.2, Susukham kartum avyayam, that devotional service is very joyful to perform. Is very joyful to perform. It's book knowledge right now. But until and unless we start to realize it, till that time our intelligence will not become well situated. It will always be attacked by Maya or by temptations. Okay? So, and this actually pushes us away from Krishna and towards more entanglement and degradation. So now just think of Srila Prabhupada's life. At the end moment, if you look at the last videos on the final lesson, you will see Prabhupadaji's body completely skinny. Like there is no piece of flesh between the skin and the bones. And then the devotees were worried, and they called the doctor, and the doctor came to examine Srila Prabhupada, and the doctor was astonished. He is like, if a person even reaches this stage where there is nothing between the skin and the bones. It is such a painful position that this person he cannot even remain conscious. And Prabhupada was here dictating the Srimad Bhagavatam in that position. Just goes to show how much fixed Prabhupada's consciousness was on the spiritual reality. He was such a self-realized soul that it didn't matter to him what is happening in the body, because his consciousness was already at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Even at the ending moments, he is giving out lectures. He is dictating on his dictaphone the final messages. Imagine, in that bodily state, a person would not be able to survive, yet he was thriving. Even think about Bhishmadev. Bhishmadev was on a bed of arrows, yet he was delivering sublime transcendental knowledge to the Pandavas. So wasn't that very painful? I mean, imagine there was not even a single place within his body where you could put a finger. That much space was not there between two arrows. You can just imagine. There was no blood left in the body of Bhishmadev. Yet he was okay. He was thriving. He was completely in spiritual consciousness. He's completely in spiritual consciousness. So this is what it means, that when you get purified, when you get the mercy of the Lord, then these three things happen. What are the three things that happen? Tell me now. What did the verse say? What are the three things that happen when you have actually received the mercy of the Lord?
Intelligence becomes well established.
Intelligence becomes well established. Then? Yeah, the threefold miseries do not affect you anymore. And your consciousness, you become very joyful. Very joyful. This is the result of attaining the mercy of the Lord. Now these verses are there to help us as markers in our own spiritual journey. How much are we realizing this knowledge? That is something we need to introspect. And if it's not working, why? Figure out why. Ask spiritual seniors as to what can I do to achieve this markers that are set in the scriptures. What can I do more? So one thing that says is that even this following rules and regulations of the scriptures, it means one thing. It means to follow in the footsteps of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. That is one way. If you keep on doing that, then naturally everything will follow. Because what was the first thing that was required? The first thing was to follow. To follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures. When you start doing that, when you start that journey, then everything will follow in place. But that other things follow in place only when you are actively applying that in your life. Yeah? Not just following it for the sake of following it. As I said, rituals. The rituals don't take you anywhere. Unless you add the spirit to the ritual, then only does it become spiritual. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, sir.
When you look at text 64,
Yeah.
The translation, Pasadam